there's more to this world than what shows up on the surface. You just gotta get out there and find it. We're back in Wyoming, high up in the mountains. And we're here to track down some of these secrets. So join us for some big adventure and simple living. This is Tiny Cabin Life. We're back in the Bighorn Mountains of north central Wyoming. We spent the last couple days exploring the southern end of this mountain range, but today we're set up on the northern side of the mountains and gearing up for another couple days of adventure.
Well, we're back in the Bighorns, and I am so happy to be up here again. We've got an awesome campsite here. We're kind of tucked away in the forest, and this spot has everything that we could possibly need.
We're currently camped off of a little gravel road in our micro cabin on wheels here. It's a small 5x8 foot camper that's really only designed to satisfy our most basic needs. Now, I've got some pretty big plans for the next day and a half up here. Our main goal is to hike up to the rugged and dramatic Black Rock Mountain, which is supposed to have an old fire lookout cabin, which was built almost 100 years ago. But then on top of that, you know I want to get out and do some fishing. Nearby is a gold medal trout stream, which means we should have a great chance of catching a ton of fish. But first off, we're going to make our way to a lesser known part of the mountains to do an off-trail hike deep into a narrow canyon where there's supposedly a ton of waterfalls.
I'm excited to be doing some hiking right off the bat here. I have noticed that some of the more obscure trails up here don't have a ton of information, so we're really going to just kind of embrace the spirit of adventure and see what we find.
And right off the bat, as we approached our hike, I was surprised to see this old abandoned cabin perched up on the hillside.
I don't know anything about this cabin here, but it looks old. Get a load of the fireplace, the old mattresses, and even a set of bunk beds. Man, what a pleasant surprise to start off our hike.
Old abandoned cabins like this are relics of the area's rich history. Many date back to the late 1800s when the range here was a hub for mining, logging, and ranching. There's a quiet, haunting beauty to these old structures as we get a look back in time to the people who lived and worked deep in the mountains here.
Well, we're out here. I'd say we're on the trail, but there isn't one. We're headed towards this canyon up here, and I think that's where we'll start to see a little bit more of a route that has been sort of carved out by other hikers in the past.
Believe it or not, this tiny little creek will be the source of multiple spectacular waterfalls that we'll soon discover in this canyon. And so to me, it's kind of a reminder that extraordinary things can come from very humble beginnings.
Oh man! Now we're in the canyon. Wow.
The canyon here shows the dramatic effect that water can have on the mountains. over time creating these beautiful cathedrals of stone.
Well, there's a nice little waterfall. Just look at that with all those wildflowers. Man, there are waterfalls everywhere in here. So as you can see here, we've kind of picked up a little bit of a trail. It's not great, but it seems to be leading us down through the canyon. All right, we have come down a very long ways, and I believe we're nearing the end of this trail where we should find the last set of falls, and they're supposed to be huge, much bigger than these other ones. Ellie, come over here. Stay right there. Stay right there. Now that is what I call a waterfall.
The falls here are certainly a hidden gem in the Bighorns. And due to that, there's not a whole lot of information about the height or anything else about them. But from what I can tell, it's gotta be close to 100 feet. And it's a sheer drop from the top here straight down into the canyon.
What a way to start this trip. I mean, this trail is incredible. Starting with that old abandoned cabin, then making our way down into the canyon, going past all those waterfalls, and then to end up here on the cliffside, looking down over 100 feet. It's unbelievable.
Ellie and I took a few moments to rest and admire the scenery. But before too long, we made our way back up the canyon and set off back towards the cabin.
Check out this moose. That is a big bull moose right there. So we came out from around that cabin and I saw this massive animal, and at first I thought it was a cow because we've been seeing a lot of cows up in these mountains. But then I saw the antlers and yeah, that told me it's a big bull moose.
Back at the cabin, it was time to get the campfire going and make some dinner.
What a sweet dog. She's just the best.
As you can see, between last week's adventure, I picked up this little cast iron fire grate, which should help me cook a little bit better this time around.
Dear God, thank you for this time up in the mountains. Bless this food and help us to stay safe tonight. Amen. Well, I've got a nice chicken burrito here. It's got guacamole, pico de gallo, cheese, and I did put a little bit of hot sauce on there as well. And man, if you can't see, I heated up this tortilla perfectly on the grill. It's just gonna be so good. It's amazing. Oh my gosh. That char on the tortilla adds just the perfect smokiness to just really make it taste like a campfire burrito.
Anybody home in there? Howdy, neighbor. Howdy. I wasn't expecting nobody this morning.
How cool is this, you guys? Oh my gosh. Although I gotta say, it's a little creepy watching the Twilight Zone out in the middle of the mountains. You know, my dad, brother, and I would watch these all the time together. And so it's kind of a nice way to remember him.
This is my first time testing out the brand new T2 Plus portable projector by Yaeber. It does run off of its own battery, but I'm able to keep it charged up with the Bluetti Elite 100 V2 portable power station, which is what I use to power our entire cabin, and they're also the sponsor of this week's video.
Morning, boys. Reckon them Miller boys gotten hard of hearing. Say, what your boys doing?
The Elite 100 V2 is the perfect power station for our cabin. It's an incredibly compact unit that packs a major punch. It's got an 1800 watt output with a 1024 watt hour capacity. It's got 11 ports with a bunch of AC outlets, USB, and of course you've got that carport as well. Through a wall outlet, you've got 1200 watts of input, but you can charge it on the road with the Charger 1 here, which will take it from 0 to 100 in just 70 minutes. But then it does support 1000 watts of solar input as well.
What you old boys got in there? What you old boys taking out of there? Who's in that box?
But when I'm ready to retire into the cabin for the night, I can continue watching with the Ray Neo Air 3S immersive display glasses. It's an easy way to have a big screen anywhere you'd like, even in the tiniest of spaces.
They're just too heartbroken.
So if you're interested in the Bluetti Elite 100 V2, you can follow the link in the description below. And if you want to be a part of Bluetti's co-branding event with the Yaeber projector and the Ray Neo glasses, you can sign up for exclusive coupons and a chance to win a full kit. Follow the Bluetti social media for giveaway activity. And with that, I want to thank Bluetti for sponsoring this video.
Good morning, girl.
After enjoying my coffee inside the cabin, I headed out and started up the fire so I could make some breakfast. Well, I've got a pretty bomb breakfast sandwich here on a pretzel bun. Oh, so good. We've got egg, chicken, salsa, and pepper jack cheese. It's gonna be great. Look at all that goodness in there. After breakfast, we loaded up in the truck and set off for our main adventure of the day, climbing up to the Black Mountain Fire Lookout. Well, I'm definitely excited to get back out on the trail, and this is supposed to be just an incredible hike. There's a fair amount of elevation that we're gonna have to climb, but we are going to get to the summit of a mountain and be able to check out a fire lookout as well. The road leading up to our hike degraded pretty rapidly. It went from a nice smooth surface to one filled with ruts, boulders, and obstacles to avoid. I guess this is why it pays to have a truck. Maybe there won't be too many people on this trail. Right now we are hiking at 9,000 feet, and so it makes it a little bit harder to breathe, especially when you're going uphill like this. Every step really drains you, and you gotta just keep a good momentum going. There's an old saying that really applies to these situations, and it's that a body in motion stays in motion. And so even though it's tempting to stop and take a lot of breaks, they actually end up hurting you. Pretty soon, we were leaving tree line behind and making our way up into the cliffs. Wow. That is a killer view. Oh, there's the lookout up there. Heck yeah. Ooh. That's a drop. Yes, we made it. Wow. Black Rock Mountain Fire Lookout was built here in the Bighorns in the late 1930s. Like many historic structures, it was built by the Civilian Conservation Corps, a group that was established to help put people to work during the Great Depression. Structures like this were critical for spotting wildfires, but they've also always been a draw for visitors seeking to get panoramic views of the surrounding mountains. It seriously always amazes me where they are able to build these lookouts. We are just on top of this peak that is just covered in rock. And I have to imagine it took a lot of work to get the materials up here and then to just build this thing. It really just shows the ingenuity of human beings. And it's just very, very impressive. Unfortunately, the lookout was decommissioned in 1980, and as you can see, the structure has fallen under hard times. Repairs have been made over the years, but due to its exposure to extreme elements up here at 9,500 feet of elevation, The cabin seems to deteriorate rather quickly.
Oof, that wasn't good. A lot of just big rocks. Well, we're off of the crazy road, and man, I just gotta say, once again, that hike blew my expectations out of the water. But now it's fishing time. Let's head over to the river.
This is the South Tongue River. And as I mentioned before, it's one of the top trout streams in the country. It begins high up in the Bighorns and eventually flows through deep canyons and forested valleys. It's known for its cold, clear waters, supporting brook trout, rainbow trout, and of course, cutthroats. And so I'm anxious to see what we might come away with today. I'm doing my best to cast into some of the deeper pools here because that's usually where the trout are hanging out. Unfortunately, though, it seems like this stretch of the river is pretty shallow and the pools are few and far between. No luck. Not even a bite.
It's so funny. It seems whenever I'm at these like really well-known trout streams and rivers, I never catch anything. But when I'm at like the smaller, lesser-known ones, I at least come away with a few.
And so with that thought in my head, I decided to pack things up and head for the North Tongue River. I certainly wouldn't call it lesser known, but it's worth a shot. And for those of you wondering where Ellie is, she's taking a nap safe and sound in the truck. The temperature is in the mid-60s, and so she's more than comfortable in there. As soon as I get down to the river, I notice that there are many more pools here with much deeper water. And it just so turned out that right off the bat, I got one.
All right. Check it out.
This section of the North Tongue River is prime habitat for moose, like the one we saw yesterday. And so as I'm moving about on this stream, I have to be extremely careful not to startle one because moose can be very dangerous.
Yeah, baby.
Now, unfortunately, even though I'm catching fish, I'm not allowed to keep any. This stretch of river is catch and release only, and so regardless, we're not getting any dinner out of here tonight.
Yes. Check out that guy. Small, but hey, I'll take it. All right. Well, that was a ton of fun. A little frustrating at times, but you know what? That's just how these things go, especially when you're learning. I definitely think I'm getting better. I'm figuring out where the fish like to hang out, and I'm getting better at casting as well. So it's just gonna be a skill I have to keep refining, and it's a lot of fun to do so. Now, even though we didn't come away with dinner, we couldn't have kept one even if we caught a big enough one, I still feel good. But it's time to get back to the cabin and relax. Guys, I just didn't have it in me to cook a meal tonight, so kind of snacking for dinner. It can be a whole process out here, even with the simple meals I make, so I just figured let's keep it simple tonight and enjoy the fire.
And so while Ellie and I were doing just that, I noticed that somebody was making their way into camp.
This is amazing. He's not like scared of us or anything.
This right here is a mule deer. They're different from the white-tailed deer that we have in Minnesota, and the way you can tell is that they have those long, floppy ears. Deer tend to be pretty skittish, so it was pretty cool to be able to just sit here and watch this guy do his thing.
Wow, that was really cool. We were literally just sitting here, and that mule deer just like strolled into camp. He was so curious about us too. He was keeping his distance, especially with Ellie here. But I think you could tell that we didn't mean him any harm. Just like that, our propane seems to be running out. It's been a great trip. Bittersweet in a lot of ways. A lot of you are aware my dad just passed away, and he loved Wyoming. We would always take trips here together. And so, while I had a great time, I was also reminded of him a lot, which was nice and hard at the same time. But all in all, this was such a meaningful trip, and I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys did too.
And so with our fire running out, I decided to head into the cabin and call it an early night. The next morning, I woke up to another surprise.
Oh my gosh, I cannot believe this. I heard some rustling outside the cabin, and like, what the heck is that? And then look out, and this guy is just right there out the window. So cool. Oh my gosh, there's more coming in. Last week, it was a bunch of cows that woke us up. Today, it's mule deer.
Well, after that, I couldn't think of any better way to wrap up this adventure. The mountains just seem to be a place where the unexpected happens frequently, and it's always a special place for me to visit. Once again, I want to thank all of you for spending this time with me out here in the Bighorn Mountains. It's quickly becoming one of my favorite places on Earth, and Lord willing, I hope to be back very soon. I want to give a special shout out to our patrons who generously donate to this channel, but again, to all of you who watch, subscribe, comment, all of that, thank you. You're the reason we get to do this, and it's not something I take for granted. I appreciate it so much, and I love being able to share these adventures with you. But with that, it's time for me to start packing up camp so I can hit the road and get home and see the girls. We'll see you next week. God bless.